Hi, my name is Brooke Gunderson, and this is my Global Learning Project initial reflection and plan. Throughout my life, I never really had to define my culture, so when I heard about this project, it kind of made me nervous. I had to sit down and really think about who I am and what my family values are, and growing up, what was my life like to kind of get a sense of my culture. So I started off with my great grandparents who all came from Europe. It was the very typical American story coming over here to make something of themselves. They come from like the region, all the same kind of region, so Wales, Germany, Ireland, and through that, I think that my great grandparents' values were very similar, which was family, spending time with your family and a good education, and just passing down stories and traditions and all of that. So I looked at a map and you could literally like draw a circle around these countries, and it was just like such a clear indication of like where I am from. Um, so my grandparents grew up in in families that didn't really have a lot, so they really value education and working hard and like working hard for what you want. And that was definitely then instilled in my dad, who started his own company for the same reasons, and even into my siblings and I. I think that too, another value would be just family time and traditions. So, like Christmas and Thanksgiving, we do the same goofy traditions, whether it's my brother dressing up as Santa Claus or breaking the wishbone or always saying prayers before dinner. So, going off of that, actually, I'm Episcopalian, and every Sunday, me and my family would go to church. Sunday school, I was in the choir, and I think that was another really good quality times like we all spent together. And then after church, we would always have like brunch or do something fun like that. So for this project, I really wanted to find someone that contrasted me and my family and our culture. And I actually came across my neighbor, who I found out was half Mexican, half Chaldean. I didn't really know what Chaldean was when I first asked her, and she told me. So she was really nice about it, and she just told me that it's Iraqis that are Catholic. So being an Episcopalian, that's one difference. Not having any family members from Iraq, that's definitely another difference. And on top of that, I was really intrigued by the fact that she was also half Mexican, because I kind of wanted to see how those two cultures came together for her own family. We talked a lot about her family structure, and that alone was really different from mine. Like, in her family, whether Chaldean and Mexican culture, like the father is definitely head of the household, where as mine, I wouldn't say it's that clear of an indication. It's either 50-50, or maybe even my mom is. So I think that that's like one huge difference. Another would be just Catholicism versus Episcopalianism is very different. For instance, like I just went to a wedding that was Catholic, and we weren't invited up for communion because if you're not Catholic, you can't do Catholic communion. So I think it'd be really interesting for my first event that I would go to with Catherine Yaldu would be I would take her to an Episcopal church, and I think it would be cool because she could come up for communion if she wanted, or at least be able to see the priest say like all are welcome. I know there are a lot of other differences between the two religions, but that's the first one that came to my head. So that's kind of how I decided to bring her to my church. On top of that, I just think there's so much to discover about Chaldean and Mexican culture and how those two go together. So I'm really interested in spending time with her and getting to know where she came from and her values and her family and how she defines herself.